Hey, welcome to Tuesday Tea Time. We put this together for busy professionals with long to do lists where the first thing to drop off is personal and professional growth. So we've devised these 10-minute tips, quick, easy to digest, tips you can take and practice throughout your week and master. My name is Megan Nabozic. I'm the founder and CEO of Leadership Within. We guide professionals on a transformational journey to reach their full potential. It begins from within. We recognize that everyone has impact to make change and influence change. Therefore, leadership is more than just a title. So, we've been talking a lot about boundaries and the stories we tell ourselves, our personal leadership to reach our potential. Today, we're going to have a two-part series on practical tips about feedback. We'll start with giving feedback, and if next time we'll talk about how to receive feedback. So, feedback can be tricky if you're not well prepared and you don't have goals and an outline to follow. And I usually write myself up an outline. If you like the outline, just shoot me a text or shoot me a message on our website, www.withinleader.com. I'm happy to share with you my itinerary, but super important that you prepare ahead of time, even if you just go through this outline in your mind. And so the first thing is knowing what we want to talk about. It sounds simple, but sometimes if we aren't super clear and concise about what the real problem is that we want to solve, our conversations end up going in circles. We also want to get clear in our head that this is meant to be a dialogue, a growth opportunity, and we want best outcomes while maintaining relationship. Okay. This isn't a termination conversation. This isn't a repeated offender conversation. These are coaching conversations that should be had on a regular basis so that you don't have those repeat offenders and problems later on. There's two reasons why you might be frustrated with the performance of your team if you have lots of repeat patterns. It's because one, you're avoiding the conflict resolution, or two, you inherited a problem, but you aren't addressing it consistently. So, dialogue, relationship, and clear problem. Now, we want to start the conversation so that they are receptive to hearing what we have to say. And that's super important that we set the tone. We invite them in, sit down. Don't start with small talk because it ends up going off in the wrong direction and they end up misinterpreting the conversation. So start by really quick. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming in. And I have some things I want to talk to you about. Boom, just straight in what we're going to talk about. Then we want to make sure that we set the tone and the environment that's respectful, dignified, and non accusatory. We want them to feel like they're a valued member of the team. We chose them for a reason. Most likely, it's their character and their talent. And we're committed to them to grow them personally and professionally. And part of that is looking at feedback, dissecting feedback, and identify that this feedback isn't aligned with the intention that I know you have or your motivation to do great work. This is a misalignment. Either it's a pattern, it's a personal problem, or it's a process problem. We want to make sure that we're not accusatory when we jump in. If they think we question their respect or that we're trying to change their mind or something, they're going to jump to defensiveness. They're going to jump to defending their dignity, and they're thinking you're out to get them. So you're not going to get anywhere. And what you'll find is the conversation goes around and around. You'll find that they become defensive, throw other people under the bus, or start making personal attacks on you and your professionalism. So if that starts to happen, it becomes heated. You want to quickly end the conversation and regroup. And you do that just by, look, I think we got off to the wrong start. I don't feel like this is a productive conversation. I really want us to work together on this. So let's take a break and regroup and come back to this conversation at a later date. Very quickly, don't get caught up in that drama and the stories and the emotion. Many people feel that feedback is disapproval, and disapproval is therefore dangerous because people tend to be people pleasers and approval seekers. And so feedback automatically, the word itself, comes with negative connotations. So we really want to set the stage and develop the mutual respect and trust up front that we're really here to grow them as professionals, because that was our commitment to them when we hired them. So next, we want to be super clear and concise about what the problem is. We want to state what we've heard, what we've seen, and we want to allow them the opportunity to share what they know is true, what's going on for them. We don't own the monopoly on truth. And as leaders, many times we get sucked into the situation where the first person that comes to us is the one we believe. And we have to remember, and I've gotten caught on this many times, is we need to step back and remember there's no one truth, and there's at least three different sides to a story. So we want to make sure that we allow that opportunity, hear what barriers are causing the situation or the performance problem, see how we can help. What can they do differently? What can we do differently? How can we meet in the middle? So after we've set the stage, and we've clearly stated what the problem is, and we in a non-accusatory way. Now, we don't want to minimize it and we don't want to dramatize it, but we want to clearly, impartially speak the facts, what we've seen, what we've heard, what we know for sure, and what we want, and how they feel about that, and let them talk. Don't interrupt, and let them talk and get their story out. There's lots of information in their story that will help you find the resolution and the next steps. After the conversation is over and we've stated what we want, make sure that we have a follow-up email summarizing what we've talked about, what the actions are, who's owning what, and whose actions are going to be completed by when, and when we're going to have a follow-up meeting to discuss and see how things are going. Make sure you thank them for the conversation and let them know how you felt about it. Is this going in a good direction? I'm so glad we took the time to hash this out. I feel like we're moving in the right direction, or this is a great first start. I hope we have more conversations like this. I'm really looking forward to seeing you grow and demonstrate your talents and skills. Let me know how I can help. And make sure that you're clear when you end, and then you follow up with documentation, and that's going to save you on, even if it's just a conversation. I usually follow it up with documentation, and my documentation is just something like, hey, just wanted to follow up our conversation with an email. Want to make sure we're on the same page. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. This is what I heard. If I'm missing something, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move forward. Look forward to seeing your progress and meeting with you at the next time or date, or when I see you next, or whatever. But documentation is key. And as a leader, we think, oh, they've never done that before, or we've never had that moment. But if you don't document it, what happens later down the road is you end up chasing your tail and starting over from square one when you already have a history, but it's not documented, and you definitely can't remember it off the top of your head. So you're not going to be able to, and that's where others get frustrated too, because they don't see you holding accountability. It doesn't look like you've held accountability. So I always follow up my conversations with documentation, just a friendly email recapping. And that way you also, when you come to evaluation times, you can go back through your emails and look at what you've talked about, where you've excelled, where we need more opportunity for growth. But make sure that your feedback is actionable, that they can actually do something with it. It's not someone's opinion, it's not someone's personality traits that someone doesn't like, that it's something that's truly going to help them reach their full potential, both personally and professionally. So I hope that helps. Reach out to me if you want more on feedback. And next week, we'll dive into how to receive feedback so that you can grow and reach your full potential. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week.